Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes,
Facts, boots.
and other stuff.
In this week's issue, the Bat Witch must burn.
Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I am Zach, joined as always by Man Wonder, Mr. Mike.
Hello there.
And Mr. Mike, today...
My wife always gets on to me when I talk to her that way.
When you say hello there?
Well, I'll come in the door after work, and like she's sitting on the couch, and I'll go, hello. And she calls me an answering machine. She says I sound like an answering machine.
You know what my wife hates? When I respond in anything like Ned Flanders. Not necessarily the voice, but even just saying like Oakley Dokley.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know why it irritates her.
She doesn't like it, yeah.
But she's a huge Simpsons fan.
Oh,
so,
she is?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't get it.
She's a Bart, not a Homer. I don't know.
I don't get that. All right. So last week we talked about DC's The Weird. Today we are keeping it, or actually the next two episodes, we're still keeping it in DC, where we're going back a little further than 1988 this time.
Cool.
Back to 1969, to a point where, Mike, I think I might have found unknowingly my favorite new comic series that I'm going back to read through. And I'll explain why. Not in a sense, it's good for what I love about comics and aspects.
Yeah, sure.
It's very silly, and I know that some people just know if you're expecting I guess we should talk about that. This is part one of a two-parter about Batman and Superman.
Dun, dun, dun.
And these are characters that I know a lot of people love. I'm a massive Batman fan, favorite character. But
are you a fan of every Batman, though?
In its own way, yes.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. Yeah. There's just so many of them.
There are so many of them. Like, we could get like super like comic book related, and there's that time where even why can I not think of his name? John St.
Ringo?
The Ezreal guy played, was filled in for Batman. It was after Bane broke Batman's back. We're talking about like 90s Nightfall.
That's a whole different thing.
Yeah, like Tim Drake's been Batman for a while. Like back in the day in the Silver Age, there were like stories of like the first Batman, because the Batman they followed in the comics wasn't the first, and you know.
Right. Well, I the only reason I asked that is because of the James Gunn thing. You know, he said there will not be 4 Batmans in his universe. There's going to be one Batman.
And I'm fine with that.
But then in the next sentence, he goes, yeah, we might bring out Batmite also. So, and if anybody can do it, he can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think he'll do it in a great way.
By the way, saw some stills today for the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
It's getting good reactions, too.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah, it's getting good reactions.
Kevin Bacon as Kevin Bacon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is in it as well.
That's cool.
So that's something to look forward to. But
that's Marvel.
Yeah, that's true.
DC needs saving.
And I think that this is the team. Yeah, I'm very interested to see where we go from here. I'm not ready to just call and be like, all right, everything's good and safe.
No.
I have a lot of faith in him, but I've just seen a lot of times in the past when, even though it's a fan favorite in general, just kind of takes over while you get good products. It's hard to make everything good.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just because the amount of things you're throwing out there. And I'm afraid we're about to get to a point.
Like Green Lantern. You can't make that good. No. Nobody can.
Well, okay, hold on. I thought you were talking about the original Ryan Reynolds movie, which is just bad.
Kidding.
But
I'm just kidding.
We're going to get into Guy Gardner. Remember, at some point, that's going to be our intro into Green Lantern.
If that dude is able to make Green Lantern something that I can enjoy or tolerate, then he's won.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge fan of not loving Green Lantern.
So
anyway,
the point I make is back in the Silver Age, there are some of these like silly kind of stories.
Yeah.
But
you know, this was the year I was born, right?
69?
Yeah.
Really? All
the
right.
Sexiest of all years.
What month, may I ask?
May.
Okay. So you were alive when these stories were coming off of, news shelves. Part one today is from August. Part two is issue 187 of World's Finest from September of 69.
Okay.
But
remember it well.
We'll focus on our first issue here. World's Finest is essentially stories with Superman and Batman together.
Okay.
In this one, the cover is just so great.
Detective was all Batman.
Detective was all Batman.
Action was all Superman. World's Finest
was the two together.
Okay.
And then also at this time, there was even a separate Batman book and a separate Superman book and a Superboy book.
Yeah.
And Detective Comics would sometimes then feature, if I'm recalling correctly, just like Bat Family.
Yeah.
Just as similar like with Action Comics would. And what we're going to see here too, because I'm going to tell today's episode kind of backwards in a way, and I'll explain why. But this issue of World's Finest, the first half, or maybe even the first 2/3 of the book, is our Superman Batman story.
Okay.
And the last third is a story from a previous Action Comics.
Oh, okay.
That they've reprinted.
All right, cool.
So for our issue today, I would like to propose something when we start to listen to this. I bring up that these are Silver Age zany versions of these characters, but I know a lot of people, when they talk about the boys, they say like, oh, Homelander, he's kind of like an evil Superman.
Yeah.
I would also like, I would like to maybe bring up for consideration that maybe Superman has always been a little evil like that, as we will see in some of these stories that we get into here.
Well, I think the episode we had about Bizarro shows that Superboy was a dick.
And this one, it's kind of the way the story is presented, but still, it's like there's tendencies in there that at least Silver Age Superman wasn't always the best.
And is Superboy always young Superman?
No.
Okay.
Eventually, so my Superboy lore is not where it needs to be. I'm not going to lie.
Not where it needs to be.
I guess
like you haven't studied
well,
enough.
I haven't to fully answer that question.
Yeah.
I do know that the Bizarro story we told at the time, those Superboy stories were a younger Clark Kent.
Yeah.
I do know eventually that it's a different person that is Superboy.
I think the problem is that DC Universe was swallowed up by Trump University. And so when that happened and they both went out of business, you couldn't get all the information you needed.
You know what? Here, let me try to explain something that I feel like is super hard to understand. Like if you go to your comic shop and try to see, just try to make something super hard, super simple real quick.
Okay.
You just talking about made me think about this. So the Silver Age of comics, essentially everything in DC that existed before an event called Infinite Crisis or Crisis on Infinite Earth in 1986. Mm-hmm. Everything before that does not exist. It was wiped out by the events in 86.
Yeah, by that.
So
it was a giant reset.
It was a giant reset button. So basically everything that happened before, all these stories essentially that we're telling.
That's when we got all the different Earth numbers and all that stuff, right?
Yes, that started in 86. And so Superman.
See, you're proud of me for knowing that?
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, that's very
good.
So like Superman was brought back as the Man of Steel. The Batman for that one is the Batman that everybody tends to know and love now.
Yeah.
As the more grimy, the Frank Miller.
Sure.
We covered the Weird in 88. So this is around not too long after the Killing Joke. Yeah. Like all these great Batman titles came out with a more dark, dreary Batman. Because at the time, and this is 69, granted it's 20 years earlier, and it does get a little bit darker just because of the times in the 70s and stuff. But Batman was never kind of to that point till after the Infinite Crisis.
He was still in the gray suit with the big yellow
not
belts
to say
and all
that
that stuff.
Not to say that Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil didn't have darker things at times. It's just it's a different kind of darkness to Frank Miller and things. But
like that time that Batman was involved in the killing fields. That was a big one, I think, right?
Yeah.
He was importing poppies for the CIA. I think, or
I remember that one. So, then in 2011,
I tried really hard on that one. It didn't land real well. But
I'm sorry. I tried.
No, I got you. Sure. I appreciate the
2011, they hit the reset button on it again.
Yeah.
Which is the new 52 stuff.
Okay. See, I don't know anything about that.
Okay,
really.
so that, but I'm just they had a similar. That's the thing DC does. If you're a beginner in comics, one thing to keep in mind is DC has had big moments like Crisis on Infinite Earth. That's in '86.
Sure.
New 52 in 2011. There's always crisis that happen that lead to these button resets. It's like supposed to tie up the previous world.
Right.
Boom, reset. We start from here now.
Do you think that's just because they like get out of control? They just
that
start
is
so
what
many
it is.
storylines,
and there's so many stories and so many things.
Well, it's fair. It's fair.
Which it makes sense. In '86, it happened, and because you had even at that point, like 50 years worth of character stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Because back then, a lot of times, like for certain artists or for certain writers' runs on Superman, he had these powers, and then whoever was writing him would get rid of them, and somehow he'd have these powers. And then whoever else took over, oh no, he doesn't have that. This is how this works.
Yeah.
And there was no continuity. And so people wanted continuity. So that's what led kind of to the reset of a lot of stuff in '86.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So DC has all these events. New 52, 2011. I think they had a Rebirth, which was kind of like a similar soft thing in like 2016. There's been a couple. Marvel has never done that. So Marvel, for the most part, has one continuous continuity.
They just do
They're
multiple
different worlds, multiverses, things like that.
Stuff. Yeah, sure. That's their reset, basically.
Yeah, there you go. So that's, I tried to explain something.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, there you go. There's a little tidbit. Now let's get into an old school story.
Let's do it.
The cover of this is absolutely fantastic for World's Finest.
Yeah.
It's Superman essentially reading to Batman that, Batman, you've been found guilty of witchcraft. I sentence you to be burned at the stake. And Batman, while in the,
Stockades.
Thank you. The stockades says, you know I'm innocent, Superman. Why are you framing me? And our title for this issue number 186, released on newsstands in August of 1969, World's Finest for 15 cents, is titled "The Bat Witch Must Burn."
You know what I'm most impressed about?
Yes.
Is that somebody took the time to make that sign.
The Bat
There's
Witch
a sign in front of Batman that says "The Bat Witch Must Burn." Somebody took the time to make that and then put it up.
So what we're going to do here is, instead of focusing on the Superman and Batman story first, we're going to take a look at the secondary story that comes at the end.
All right.
And it's a short little, just one issue. Yeah, sea monkeys. What we're going to find out here is about Johnny Quick. Do you know who Johnny Quick is, Mike?
I do not. I thought it was Johnny Quest at first.
No.
Yeah.
So Johnny Quick, essentially, just to make it simple, is a man by the name of John. His first name is John. I can't think of his last name.
If his first name is not Johnny, then it makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, it's not Johnny. It's just John. Yeah. But his last
Johnny
name
to his friends.
is Chambers. Johnny Chambers.
Chambers. Okay.
So Johnny Chambers is Johnny Quick. And his magic formula is how he becomes the fastest man in the world, essentially.
Well, what's his magic formula?
So his magic formula, he just has to say, and I kid you not, out loud, 3x2, 9yz, 4a exclamation point.
It's literally a formula?
Yeah. He says the formula out loud.
That's so stupid.
And he becomes the world's fastest man, Johnny Quick.
Come on. That's dumb.
That's it. So in this story... Oh, just wait. This one's great.
Wow.
So in this story, we're introduced to a man by the name of Bull Barton.
I need you to explain something to me.
Yeah.
The human hot rodders. That's who he's going up against?
That's who he's going up against.
So what the hell's the editor's roundtable?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I don't
Fair
know.
enough. Yeah. All right. Tell me about this guy
who
we're
shouts
X real
to
loud
this,
and turns fast.
This Bull Barton, who's a convicted murderer who's awaiting the day of his execution.
Oh, that bastard.
And he keeps saying, my gang's going to get me out of here. And the cop just says, no, they're not. Stop just sitting here sulking about this here.
Sure.
All you got to be able to do is read the paper until essentially you die.
Eat your bologna sandwich. Shut up.
I'm not quoting the script verbatim, but I'm just giving you the high points, essentially.
Yeah, I get it. Sure.
So he gives him the paper. And we find out that he gets the paper every day. That'll come in later. It's not brought up, but just know it will. Then we're introduced to Johnny Chambers, who works for a television company. He and his friend, Tubby Watts, who obviously is a larger man, because
I loved him with the Saints in '73. Tubby Watts, he was great.
Yeah, left guard, right?
Yeah, he's a left guard.
They're at The
thing is, Tubby could switch to right guard too.
That's true. He was very versatile.
Yeah, he was a versatile guy.
Tubby was very versatile. Saints, right?
Quick for a big guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the Saints were around in '63.
I don't know.
But
made it up.
I don't think they were. So Johnny's got the bright idea that, hey,
that's the problem with it, is that the Saints weren't around then.
I'm just saying that it's not. Yeah, it's just not factually accurate.
Yeah, I got you. Sure.
So Johnny and Tubby are sent out by the station to not things you think you'd mention on a regular day.
It's dumb.
Are sent out to go take pictures of unusual animals. Right. That's what they're sent to do by the station.
Cover unusual animals?
They want to go film unusual animals. So they send them and they decide to go to a cat show. Well, while they're at this cat show.
What the fuck? A cat show?
A cat show. Okay. So while they're at this cat show, these guys wearing masks and helmets come in and steal the prize cats.
We have covered some really stupid stuff in the past.
Oh, I should tell you. I just told you the story. It tells you here that it's from Johnny Quick, here from Adventure Comics number 202 from July of 1954 is one of his most puzzling adventures.
Because somebody's stealing a damn cat.
So they steal a cat, and Johnny turns into Johnny Quick. He says his formula out loud, and it goes
X2Y Z.
It goes, holy cats! Look, Johnny, it's the Bull Barton gang. But why nab a cat of all things?
Wait, he said holy cats?
Yeah, he does.
Nice.
And Johnny says, just what I intend to find out, Tubby. 3x2, open parenthesis, 9yz,
open parenthesis,
close parenthesis, 4a, exclamation point. I don't know if he has to say that parentheses or not. It's in parentheses. And then uttering the secret formula that gives him mastery over time and space.
Subdivided by.
The famed photographer instantly becomes Johnny Quick, the king of speed. How many kids do you think read that and said it? And they're like, no, nothing happened.
Yeah.
They lie.
Yeah.
Everything's a lie.
It's like Christmas Story when you find out it's all about Ovaltine.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Johnny Quick can't find the burglars. Like they go and
the cat burglars.
The cat burglars.
Sure.
So he goes out, can't find them.
Oof.
Next day, this leads to just a string of robberies in a way.
All the cats.
We see the Bull Barton gang come in, and we find out that they have like these rollerblades that are atomic powered. So they can go up to like 100 miles per hour. That's why it was so hard for Johnny Quick to catch up with them, because they were so fast too. So the gang comes in and steals an alligator from the zoo.
And sure. That's the next logical step from cat.
Johnny Quick hears about this on the police scanner or police radio he has attained legally, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah.
And goes and changes the barricades that forces the guys to skate in a circle because they have nowhere else to go. In an attempt to get rid of Johnny Quick, one of the bad guys kicks one of his atomic skates towards an elephant pen. And Johnny Quick goes to save him. By the time he comes back, they're gone.
We don't want an atomic rollerblade hitting an elephant.
Exactly.
I mean, we all know what happens when that happens.
We see headlines in the papers: crime, hot rodders pull prize puzzler.
Yeah.
A great headline.
Yeah.
And Johnny Chambers is trying to figure out what happens.
You feel like they've been sitting on that headline for a while.
And
they're like, crap, we can use it. Yeah.
Then we see one where, we see a panel where it's these hot rodders are stealing a kangaroo.
Sure.
And it says, wait, the mayor discovers the goldfish. Wait till the mayor discovers the goldfish I'm leaving for him. So one is they're stealing a kangaroo. The other one's they're leaving animals at certain places, right? And others is they're stealing animals from other places and then putting them back. It's really weird. It's all animal related. They're stealing stuff. They're putting them back.
Okay.
Right? There were a lot of ads in this.
Sure.
Too.
Oh, there are a lot of ads.
So, essentially, though, don't worry. That made no sense. Eventually, Johnny Chambers figures it out because he's our hero.
He has a really dumb costume. Too.
He does. And he goes to wherever the plan for the next animal robbery is going to be, and he throws
Who gives a shit? They're stealing animals.
And he throws glue down to stop their skates.
The famous coyote incident.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so while they're there, they get stuck and
they get stuck in the glue?
Yeah, the skates get stuck in the glue.
yeah.
They don't work.
That
And then when
happens.
the police arrive, a while later, it says, all right, so you got us, but too late.
Wait,
Johnny
they were
Quick-
just stuck in the glue and they didn't take their shoes off?
Like they were trying to, but Johnny Quick's there to like round them up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
And he's like, but too late, Johnny Quick. We'll only get light wraps for those animal jobs, and our secret plan worked. And he goes, wrong, pal. With this attempted fur robbery, that's what they were stealing, fur.
God.
I've cracked your code and your whole scheme.
Wait, they were stealing fur to make, like this is 101 Dalmatians is what we
No,
got?
here's we find out that we don't know what it is.
Okay.
So essentially, we're taken back. I don't know why I keep saying essentially a lot today.
Essentially.
The next panel, we're taken back to the prison where the Bull Barton character
oh, yeah, I
asked
forgot
for
about him.
cake for his last meal.
Oh.
And the warden's like, that's a strange request, but we always do respect a dying man's wishes. All
There's a
right.
cat hidden in
And
it.
minutes afterwards, Johnny Quick shows up with a bunch of cake.
Oh.
And he's like, what? Johnny Quick? And he said, and essentially, again, I don't know why.
Sure.
It's
yeah.
Bull Barton runs to attack Johnny Quick. And
So,
Johnny Quick throws the cake.
I'm a little lost. So the prisoner
Bull
who is
Barton,
on death row
who's on death row.
attacks the guy who says a formula real loud and gets fast because he's holding a whole bunch of cakes.
Yes, like he
Okay.
dodges at
Great.
him. And,
Got it.
And the fast guy throws cake at our bad guy, right?
Sure.
And the bad guy says, "Oh no, the gun!" And our fast guy says, "Don't worry about it. I took the gun out of there because I cracked the code."
Why so many cakes?
And the code was essentially they had made a. My goodness, it's
okay.
a
It's
drinking
your
game
word.
at
It's
this
your word.
point. Johnny Quick finds out that they are using a rebus puzzle, a rebus puzzle. Thank you.
Rebus, yeah.
Where so
That's
they
where you mix up the
stole
letters and stuff, yeah.
Well, on this one, they stole a cat, they stole an alligator, they gave a parakeet to somebody,
Oh.
but then they stole a kangaroo.
So you put it all together
They
and
put
it
a
spells gun.
goldfish. Well, no, and it spells it out,
Oh.
and he got cake from it. Here's the thing, and this was pointed out to me by my brother because I do what all normal people do, and I read comics during my lunch break at work.
Sure, why wouldn't you?
So in the panel, it just says that a monkey was taken and then given back.
Okay.
So
But
it makes sense up here. It says plus monkey because the monkey was taken,
plus monkey.
but the monkey was given back. So minus monkey.
Sure.
Why are there two M's with X's?
That is some detailed algebra right there. Plus monkey minus monkey.
Yeah, but
equals
there's two M's.
X.
You would just plus monkey. You would have made
But
the M.
why even do it?
Minus monkey, I know, but minus monkey, you would have crossed it out. So
Yeah.
why is there another M? Because there's no other M there.
Yeah, that doesn't make any
Anyway,
sense.
that's the code. So
But why did they do all of them? Why didn't they just do the ones that spell cake?
I don't know. They wanted it to be
I
more
mean, because you could have just
confusing.
done cat, alligator, kangaroo, and elephant.
Maybe
right?
they wanted it to be more confusing in case somebody tried to figure it out, like
Give him
Johnny
a monkey.
Quick wanted
Give
to.
him a monkey.
So Johnny Quick basically sums it up that that left the final
Parakeet.
keyword, cake. They knew their animal crimes would tip off Barton to look for a gun in the cake.
This is the dumbest thing you've ever
Since he
said.
was allowed daily
This
newspapers.
is the dumbest thing ever.
And the guy says, well, Barton has seen his last newspaper, and our last panel,
he
it's the
just stabs
narrator
him and it's
says, and so next day, as Johnny Chambers and Tubby read the news, the headline says, Bull Barton executed on
Oh
schedule.
my God.
And Johnny Quick says, why so sad, Tubby? Are you mourning for him? And Tubby says,
He's missing the cake.
no,
Yeah.
only for all that wonderful
That's
cake that
it.
was ruined.
I knew it.
What a crime.
That's great.
No, human
How do you-
death means nothing to
how do you
me. All
not-
just cake.
How do you not give a guy named Tubby a whole bunch of cake? Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't know about that, but what I do know is I feel like this is a perfect spot for us to go ahead and take a small break and hear a word from our sponsors.
Yes.
welcome back. Hopefully, we weren't gone too long. We're here. We missed you. Hopefully, you missed us.
I really missed you guys.
So after that Johnny Quick story, let's now get into the
Bat Witch must burn.
The meat and potatoes of the story, and let's talk about Bat Witch.
Which one's meat? Which one's potatoes?
Batman is always the meat.
Oh, okay.
That sounded oddly sexual.
I hate that phrase, but sure.
But I kind of want that. Batman's always the meat.
Gross.
So, we have, and I'm just going to skip through some of this because some of these, what they like to do, a lot of comics, obviously, in the part 2, when we get there, they like to tell you what happened previously in part 1. They also, there's a Polaris nuclear sub that you can buy for only $6.98. Let's give our kid nuclear fusion.
Oh, that's great.
But they like to kind of like tease the rest of the issue. So not to give the story away, I'm going to skip past this right now. What we have is Bruce, for some reason, is sitting at home.
Eating a bunch of cake.
No cake here. And he's kind of like just reminiscing. And he's like, my namesake, Mad Anthony Wayne, which I was trying to figure out. Namesake means that he was named after him. His name's Bruce Wayne.
It doesn't make any sense.
Anthony Tone. And I was like, just his relative Wayne?
Yeah, it's just his relative.
And then I tried to not think about it anymore because I realized it was probably just somebody made up for this story.
Yeah, sure.
So he's thinking about his relative, Mad Anthony Wayne, back during the colonial times and how he would, lead guerrilla forces against the British soldiers. Well, he gets a phone call while he's at home, and it's Commissioner Gordon. And Commissioner Gordon has called him and asked Batman to just watch over this bust that has been donated to the library.
Sure.
It's like 200 years old, right?
Okay.
Again, I'm telling you, Mike.
Yeah, I get it.
This is my favorite. It's super silly. Just prepare yourself.
Yeah. No, okay. I'm there.
So he's overlooking this bus, essentially, and while he's there, of course, these guys drop and break it.
I got kicked out of the library one time for overlooking a bust.
Bust.
Oh, sorry.
Or bus?
Bust. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The statue.
It was a joke.
I got it.
Okay.
No, I'm with you.
Essentially.
Now that felt like a day. So everybody's like, oh no, what are we going to do? Batman's like, I'll just call up Superman. Superman will be able to fix this, right?
Why wouldn't you?
So he calls Superman over.
You got his number in your Rolodex, right?
Yeah.
You call Superman.
And Superman's putting this all together, like this statue together. And this isn't how statues work.
Wait, he's putting a statue together?
Like the one that shattered in a million pieces?
Oh,
Batman
I didn't realize it shattered.
Yeah, no, these guys dropped it.
Oh, okay.
As they were moving it.
I didn't realize.
And so Batman calls Superman, and Superman comes to put it back together. And while he does, usually statues don't work like this, especially when I show you the finished product.
Yeah.
But they're putting it together, and Batman's looking at him, and he's like, man, that looks a lot like me. That's weird, of the bust that's there. But then when he finishes it, it looks like Batman.
That is really dumb.
It doesn't work like that because it would never, like, the person didn't sculpt Bruce's, in what we are supposed to believe is Bruce's face, and then the mask over it. But that's what they want you to think. So the sculptures of Batman, and they're freaked out. And because it's supposed to be over like 200 years old. So
there's no way.
Batman essentially is like, what do you think this is? Superman goes into the back room, pulls curtains off, sews himself a colonial looking costume, wraps Batman, or makes a costume for Batman, wraps Batman then in his Superman cape, because his cape will be able to withstand the friction of him flying fast enough to go back in time to check this out.
Wow.
Also, I'd like to point out,
why does this feel like a Hardy Boys story?
It kind of does.
You
he informs Batman in all just these 4 panels here. Like, I'm not skipping anything. He informs Batman that he has essentially treated his clothing. There it is again. Essentially, treated his clothing with a chemical of sorts that'll also not cause the clothes to burn up from the friction.
Superman
does
in this story does a whole lot of this where his arms move really fast
and things just happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. How lazy.
They show up back now in colonial times of where they were, and they land.
I'm going to ask you, like some of the other stories, did they account for the curvature of the Earth?
No.
Okay.
But it doesn't come up.
Okay. All right, great.
So where they land, they're approached by this wagon carrying a prisoner. They ask about the prisoner, and the others think that maybe they're British spies coming to release this British captain that they've caught.
And by the way, they're still dressed like Batman and Superman.
No. Remember, they've landed. It's the costumes that
they put on
Superman
special clothes.
Yes, so they look like they belong there.
Sure.
But Mad Anthony Wayne thinks that they are spies coming to rescue this captured British captain that they have. He and his guerrilla forces have captured the man that they're taking him to be hung.
Yeah, they got him in the back in the paddy wagon.
There's a lot of hanging in this.
Sure.
This issue, even with the Johnny Quick episode before, issue before. So Matt Anthony Wayne and Batman and Superman kind of fight.
I do like this part. So there's rings that they go through that shows the different times that they're like
passing through.
Yeah. So like 60, 50, and it's like 1900 and all that. Yeah, that's
kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
In a different way.
Yeah.
But
it gets you through time like in one panel.
Oh yeah,
like
a lot quicker.
There it is.
Batman eventually is able to use Anthony Wayne's horse's momentum against him to flip the horse.
Sure.
Not to hurt either of them.
Yeah.
Because it's his judo. He talks about his karate and judo mastery.
Oh, good.
Right.
I always loved it when Batman did judo.
So
look at the glow in the dark monsters.
Yeah.
Those were models. So like you put together a car model. These were models made by somebody that you put together the Universal type monsters or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I had some of those.
That's cool.
Yeah. No. Whatever.
Well, I was just
whatever, man. Come on.
Anyway, the battle is stopped, and he eventually rides away. He tells them, I'm sorry, they stop the scuffle, like they get him up.
Sure.
And they stop the fighting. He's like, hey, let's be friends. And he's like, never. We're on opposite sides. Just because you let me go, you're still like, he doesn't trust them.
Sure.
And so he leaves. So the two of them
are
decide,
these punks that just showed
hey,
up?
let's change into our actual costumes as Batman and Superman. And they just tell people we're part of like a traveling like troupe kind of like actors.
Okay.
Like it's a costume we'll wear instead.
Okay.
Maybe they won't think we're like British soldiers. Well, when they get to town, they walk in on a woman in a dunk booth, essentially like a chair tied to a wooden plank, and the town is going to drown her because she's a witch.
This is when they see if they can float or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
But she's tied to it, and they're going to drop her underwater because she's a witch.
Right.
And they tell her, if you're innocent, heaven will protect you. No harm will come to you from remaining underwater. Only the guilty will suffer. Dunk her is what the townspeople say when they go.
That's not the way water works, but sure.
It's so funny, though, because Batman and Superman just walk up on this, and Batman's like, she's a regular Miss America. She's no witch. And Superman's like, sure, but convincing the crowd of that, this is the age of superstition. The witch hunting season is on.
Oh.
So Batman's like, there's no way she's a witch. And Superman's response is like, yeah, but they're crazy. And like just kind of stares at the camera.
Duck season, rabbit season.
Yeah.
Duck season, rabbit season.
So they dunk this poor woman underneath the water. Superman.
Sure. But to be fair, you don't know what she's done.
No, we don't know.
Maybe she ate a baby.
That's true. They just assume. That's the thing. Batman's just like, That's right. It's a blonde white woman. I'm sure she's perfectly nothing wrong.
Batman's just a horn dog.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Well, just wait. They both are.
Oh, great.
So she's
This is
dunked
1969. So, I mean, it was a little,
She's dunked underwater. And it said, and I didn't understand this. But it says, then Superman's steel-like teeth gnaw through the solid plank.
Teeth.
He bites through the plank.
Oh,
right?
that's wow.
Which was weird.
Wait, you got a bat dude that has judo powers. Why didn't he just chop it?
He has like X-ray vision, or
he's got
heat vision. Like
yeah.
he's super strong,
so
but he bites through it.
Through the wood.
So the girl comes up to land, and the people see, look at those teeth marks. A sea serpent must dwell underneath. It was the beast which gnawed through the plank and freed her. And Superman says, 'tis too great and evil for us, or no, and sorry, the other townspeople says that it's too great and evil for us to combat.
Yeah.
And Superman says, that's just what I wanted them to think. So
What
he
a
wanted
dumb
them to
plan.
think that a sea monster ate it.
Yeah.
Well, she's still tied up to this thing. So Batman dives in to rescue her and pulls her out of the water. And when he does, he's like, now what's this about? Or she goes, save me and I'll thank you properly to get on this. And as soon as he saves her on shore, Batman goes, now what's this about thanking me properly? She, again, just been pulled out from almost being, drowned.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, hey,
baby.
what were we talking about with this?
Baby.
She says, your mask is in the way. Do you have to wear it? I would love to, I'd love to see the man who saved my life. And he's like, I don't remove it for anybody. Like he's thinking to himself, but he's like, but I'm in 17, I'm in the past in colonial times. Right. Nobody knows me here. And so he's like, so he just takes it off.
Yeah, baby.
And he's like, certainly, I only need it for my role on stage, as an actor. And she's like, oh, you're so handsome. And then she leans in to kiss him because
that's how people get pregnant.
Yep, right
you take
there.
your mask off.
And then you kiss people.
That's it.
Mask on, mask off, as Future said.
That's right.
So, never thought you'd get a Future reference on here, did you?
Good.
So she kisses him. And Batman looks and sees, if that isn't just like a woman. I did the work and Batman's collecting
just
the
like
goodies.
a woman. Wow, that's great.
I did the work and Batman's collecting the goodies, is what he says.
That's gross. I chewed through that wood, lady.
Yeah, Batman's like, this is the 18th, or this in the 18th century kiss, but it's sending me in orbit like blast off time at Cape Kennedy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So then Superman shows up and he's like, hey, aren't you forgetting something, Batman? An introduction. He's like, hey, I kind of saved her too. And Batman goes, some other time, pal. Sylvia and I are going to the tavern to drive. Sylvia. Already is like, hey, Sylvia and I are going to the tavern. And I got a lot of rehearsing to do for Hamlet. So remember?
That is not out of... that is how I picture those two.
Yes.
Like Superman is the do-gooder. He's super strong. He's got all the things. And then comes the dude who's just a billionaire who dresses like a freaking bat and he cleans up.
Oh, just wait. Superman's going to get his comeuppance. Or not, Batman's going to.
Okay, good.
So they walk away and Batman's like, you can bet you'll be seeing me, old buddy. And he's like chatting up. So while he goes, Superman puts on Batman's costume and hops on a broom and flies around town.
Oh my God.
On a broom.
So this whole witch thing is literally these two are fighting over this woman. Oh my God. Come on.
So
this is how Batman is seen as a
you
witch.
See why now this is like my favorite new series,
this
right?
Is so
like
stupid.
I have other issues from this year now for me to read because I love it so much.
The art is fantastic.
Oh,
by the way.
It's great classic Silver Age Batman and Superman.
Yeah, it's great.
So
I'm gonna hop on this broom.
And then he sneaks away to the tavern where they're at.
Yeah.
And he takes coal from a woman's thing as she's standing right by them talking to Batman and Sylvia.
Okay.
Superman takes coal from her thing there
and he compresses
it into diamonds and plays it in front of her.
I don't know why Superman doesn't do that more often.
And she goes and she's like, whoa, this was coal, now it's diamonds. Then a black cat hops up onto the table in front of Bruce, in front of Batman, and goes, "Oh, master!" Because they call him a witch, and Bruce is like, "No, I promise, I'm not." And the cat goes, "Master, what are you saying?"
Wait, what?
The cat says, "Yeah, Master, what are you saying? How can you deny that you are a servant of Satan like me?" That's what the cat says, right?
What?
Hold on, let me finish.
What is the cat talking?
And Batman says, "What? I'm hearing things." Like Batman's like, "What is this cat doing?"
And this is Batman, or is it Superman dressed as Batman?
No. This is Batman now dealing with all this.
But he's back in his suit.
Superman's back in his Superman suit. Batman never
How did
changed
that
out.
happen?
Here's the thing. Apparently, Superman had an extra Batman suit somehow. I kid you
Well,
not.
we're going back
No. It's better than that. I remembered reading it now. It is more comic booky than that.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Where's this at? I want to see. Oh,
Well, he's all wet.
ha ha! I smeared my cape with blue clay and my costume with gray dust to look like Batman's
come
outfit.
on. He didn't even
Our
put on. He didn't even put on Batman's suit. He just made his look like Batman. Oh, that.
Our faces are
wow.
similar enough for me to pass as him from this distance.
Come on.
So the townspeople are like, all right, yeah, Batman, you're so witch. And so they go to wrap him up and they basically say, we all heard the Black Cat identify you as a sorcerer. I'm going to take the stranger. Oh, no. Then they say, I'll appoint a stranger to prosecute him later, as is our custom. Batman says, Superman, won't you even lift a finger to help me? Essentially, like as they're tying him up. Yeah. And Superman thinks, I did help you, old buddy. A mild dose of my heat vision nudged the cat into jumping onto your table. And my super ventriloquism, throwback to the Bizarro episode. This has been used multiple times. Made him speak. Ha 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 ha. And he starts laughing to himself.
God, I hope that's how he laughs.
And it says, so it's a neat little frame by the man of might. Has jealousy over Sylvia caused Superman to betray his Bat Buddy? Turn to part 3 and witness the trial. Oh my God. So we have the trial to wrap up this episode for us real quick.
I just got to say, I am totally on the side of the villagers at this point.
Right?
You know?
Of being against Batman.
They saw a friggin' cat talk to him and say, you're a spawn of Satan.
So they're like,
they're like, yeah, okay. It doesn't get better than that.
So now Batman is
He's in the stockades.
Yeah. And Superman is reading to him. And he's like, Batman, you know, you were seen flying on a broomstick. You made diamonds out of coal. You converse with a black cat. You're clearly a sorcerer. I demand that you be burned at stake. Because as an impartial stranger in town, Superman has been named the prosecutor.
Do you think Superman would follow through with this?
So here's the thing. So he tells him that here are the charges, all sworn to eyewitness. Can you prove that they're false? And Batman's like, I can't. I'm helpless for doing that. You just have to give me a chance to try to at least go out and prove it. And Superman tells him, you've heard it, that that's the case for the prosecution. Like, there's nothing else for us to kind of prove. And they're all like, Superman, you know that he's not guilty. Like, his only chance is you saying something. And Superman's like, all right, I'll put it up to a vote. It's time to judge the accused. All those in favor say yay. Or no, all those in favor that saying he's innocent say yay. And Sylvia says yay. And then an older gentleman in the background, bespectacled gentleman, says yay. And then Superman says, all those who deem him. It is Ben Franklin.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
So Sylvia and Ben Franklin say yay.
I did not see that, but I just assumed when you said
and everybody else, including Superman, vote nay. So they sentence him to burning the next day. That's right. They're going to burn Batman at the stake.
That's wonderful.
Well, while they're waiting overnight, Sylvia's out there hanging out with Batman. And Sylvia basically calls Superman a murderer. Like, you must be stopped. Like, he's not guilty. And Superman says Batman's guilt was proved in a fair trial. His sentence must be carried out.
That I rigged.
Yeah. And he goes, save your tears, mistress. You're far too pretty to grieve over him. I'll help you forget.
So gross.
I'll help you forget.
Yeah, that's rough. Thanks, Bill Cosby.
And she's like, your nerve. It's all your fault that he's like doing this. Yeah. Like, this is happening. He's your friend. You have a heart of steel. I can't believe you're doing this. And she runs away just kind of scared. Mm-hmm. Well, Superman just kind of leaves and Batman's left in the stockade overnight to await his fate the next morning. When Ben Franklin comes out, Batman recognizes him and Ben tells him, I have an idea from some of my research. And he ties a kite to the lock of the end of the blockade. And sure enough, as the kite's flying, lightning strikes the kite and it keeps going down and it keeps sputtering out right before the lock, though. Yeah. And it doesn't lock because we find out that Superman keeps moving in and blocking it from unlocking the lock.
God,
and
Superman
Batman
is a jackhole.
And Batman sees this and he goes, so finally, Ben Franklin says, the lightning storm has passed. I cannot help you anymore, Batman. Strange. My experiments never failed before, as if nature itself were conjuring against us. And Batman's like, forces of nature, my eye. He's like, the only thing that could have stopped the lightning was you, Superman. But why? And Superman says, ha ha, you're supposed to be the world's greatest detective, Batman. Figure it out for yourself.
Wow.
And that's where it ends. And it says, have you figured it out, reader? Be sure to be here next issue to cheer your to check your solution with ours.
Yeah, I figured it out. Superman's a dick.
So there you go. That's this week's issue of our episode of Bros, Foes, and Heroes. World's Finest, number 186. We're living on a cliffhanger as a 2-part Thanksgiving special.
Gobble,
so
gobble,
go
indeed.
have fun with your family. Maybe you're listening to this while you're driving to your family for Thanksgiving. If so, have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Tell Grandma you love her.
Yeah, or Grandpa if he's there too.
Hug his leg.
Yeah, unless he doesn't want you touching his leg,
That's
then
true.
don't.
Well, I mean the good one.
Yeah, the good grandpa or the good leg?
Both.
Okay.
I mean, everybody has a good grandpa and a bad grandpa.
People who are
right?
losing their hair, don't rub their bald spot. They don't like that.
No, and stop touching those pregnant ladies' tummies.
Yes, and they don't like that either.
No, it's dumb.
And make sure to eat dessert. Like it's
leave
turkey,
room for dessert.
dressing, and dessert. It's the only time of year where
Turkey's great leftover. Eat it later.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat it all right now.
Exactly. Same with dressing.
Hey,
and the sandwiches made out of them.
Hey,
oh my goodness.
Hey, put that leg down.
Yeah.
Put it down.
Your leg and the turkey leg.
Come on. Yeah. Why is your leg up?
Yeah.
Get it off the table.
Did you catch a cramp?
Sure.
All right. Is the cramp gone? Put it down now.
Damn tryptophan.
I guess that's us here at Bros, Foes, and Heroes.
That's
saying
it, man.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you as always for listening. As always, you can find us Instagram, Bro, Foe, Hero, Bros, Foes, and Heroes on Twitter, and Bros, Foes, and Heroes at gmail.com. Also, yeah, I've thrown that in there a couple. I have it. I'm slowly trying to get into it. I'm trying to get us out there more.
You talk about the Wild West.
Yeah.
Freaking Twitter's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
I've also started to post little kind of like, I don't know, intro recaps.
Yeah.
Tidbits on Reddit to try to get people interested in a way.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey,
Anyway,
everybody on Reddit,
there.
happy Halloween.
Yeah. When you get, whatever.
I don't know.
Also, make sure to check out all the great podcasts over at roguemedianetwork.com.
Yeah. roguemedianetwork.com.
The great family of podcasts over there. So until next time, everybody, as always, we appreciate you taking the time out to listen. And stay safe.
Golly gone! Superman's a dick.
Bros and Foes and Heroes. Gonna tell you about Bros and Foes and Heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.